Hello everyone, welcome back to Sports Cabri, Adfoot and Curious Harry. With me are Hiren and Arnava like always. And yeah, we're here to discuss the aftermath of that nil-all draw we played against Afghanistan. Important World Cup qualifier game. Sort of didn't go to plan in the end for us. We weren't ever really in that game, to be honest. Arnava, I'll just come to you straight away. Your thoughts after it's nearly been 24 hours since that game.
First of all, good evening, everybody. I'm still disappointed, to say the least, about what we saw last night because it's just I don't know. It's just to me it wasn't good enough. It just wasn't good enough, and it's nothing. And it's everything needs to be questioned. And to me, um, it can't be business as usual after this. I think that's the thing, and it feels like it seems to be business as usual, and that's something, when you see that the statements coming out, oh, you know what, we had our chances, like always we didn't utilize it. It's like, did I miss something, or where did we have chances? We didn't have a proper chance in 90 minutes. We had these half chances at most, but we didn't have a proper chance in 90 minutes against an Afghanistan C, D, E, F. I don't even know what team it was, and there was the miss of emotion, miss of, I don't know, the fire was missing. If we thought the Asian Cup was a low, we have gone even lower, and that is my concern.
Yep. Hi, Aryan. Ego Steamats also here. Travel by. Hello, everyone. Hiren, I think Anwaz, I think hit the nail really, hard because a friend of mine was also asking me, he was like, how did India play? Because he wanted to watch the game, but he wasn't feeling well or whatever. Wasn't able to. And then he said, I've heard that we were really bad. I was like, dude, I just genuinely can't remember us creating a chance in the game in an entire, across 90 minutes. If you really think about it, we didn't create anything here. And isn't that shocking?
First of all, hello to everyone, and that is the issue. I think एक चीज ये होती है कि फुटबॉल में आप छोटी टीमों से भी हार जाते हो, ऐसा नहीं कि आप नहीं हारते हो। हमने देखा है काफी बार, कल भी हमने देखा है, जैसे भाई थाईलैंड ने साउथ कोरिया के सामने ड्रॉ कर दिया। उससे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, मैं भी मतलब ड्रॉ भी हो सकता है, मे भी हार भी जाते अफगानिस्तान के सामने, बट वो एक आपकी टीम की जो मतलब जिस तरह से कल खेली, दे लुक एब्सोल्युटली क्लूलेस, दे लुक आई थिंक कंप्लीटली कंफ्यूज, एंड दैट इज द बिगेस्ट डिसअपॉइंटिंग पार्ट। एंड ये सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं कि इस मैच में देखने को मिला, आई थिंक जब एशियन कप के टाइम पे भी जब हमने लाइव किए थे और उसके बाद भी जब हमने डिस्कस किया था, तब भी हमारा वही पॉइंट था कि एशियन कप आपका बुरा जा सकता है, आपके सामने ऐसी टीमें थी, समझ में आता है, बट टू नॉट स्कोर अ सिंगल गोल, टू नॉट पुट अप अ फाइट, एंड जो एक टीम की मतलब ये प्लेयर इतने भी बुरे नहीं है कि भाई एक ऐसा सा छोटा सा सिंपल पास ना कर पाए। एंड आई थिंक उसके बाद मैंने खुद के अपने सोलो लाइव भी किए थे, उस टाइम पे भी लोगों को बोला था कि देखिए, डर मेरे को सिर्फ एक ही चीज का था उस टाइम पे, कि अगर टीम का ट्रस्ट कोच के ऊपर हट गया है, तो फिर चाहे कोई सा भी ओपोनेंट सामने आ जाए, कितना भी लोअर रैंक आ जाए, कोई सी भी BCD कोई सी भी टीम आ जाए, यू ऑलवेज बी द यू कैन से वर्स्ट टीम, बिकॉज फिर आपको परफॉर्मेंस ही नहीं दिखेगी प्लेयरों की ओर से। एंड कल सेम चीज हो रही थी, प्लेयर ना तो सिंपल सा पास कर रहे थे, सिंपल सा बॉल होल्ड अप कर रहे थे, सिंपल सा शॉट ले पा रहे थे, कहाँ पे बॉल पास करनी है, देयर इज नॉट अ सिंगल बिल्ड अप जो आप याद रख बोल सकते हो। सामने अफगानिस्तान दे यू कैन से सेट इट अप वेरी नाइसली। सो आई थिंक दैट्स वेयर आई थिंक मेरे को लगता है कि कोच की सबसे ज्यादा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि अगर कोच के ऊपर ट्रस्ट हट गया है तो फिर आपको कुछ भी कर लीजिए, टीम विल नॉट परफॉर्म, सिंपल एज दैट। एंड मैं ये सिर्फ ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि ये इंडियन फुटबॉल में हो रहा है, काफी बार हमने फुटबॉल में देखा है कि क्लब लेवल पे या फिर नेशनल लेवल पे, कि जब इस तरह की सिचुएशन आती है, देन चाहे कितना भी अच्छा कोच हो, यू नीड टू चेंज इट। आपको रिएक्शन लाने के लिए टीम की ओर से, वो रिएक्शन लाने के लिए यू नीड टू चेंज सम टाइम। एंड आई थिंक वो एक रिएक्शन की मिसिंग है। आई थिंक जो सर ने बात बोली, बिल्कुल मैं एग्री करता हूँ उनसे कि ये अगर चीज आपके लिए नॉर्मल हो चुकी है, आई थिंक जिस तरह से आज आप देखिए कि सोशल मीडिया पे जो फैंस का रिएक्शन तो आ ही रहा है, जो कि जेन्युइन रिएक्शन है, सही रिएक्शन है, बट जिस तरह से यहाँ पे AFF एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एंड जिस तरह से कोच का रिएक्शन आया, दैट इज द वो मोस्ट वरिंग पार्ट रादर देन अ ड्रॉ, आई वुड से। उनके लिए ये नॉर्मल सी चीज है, उनका कहना कि वन स्मॉल स्टेप क्लोजर टू आवर गोल। आई थिंक वी हैव टेकन ए far more, you can say, larger step backward than you can say forward. So I think that is the more. I think कल्याण चौबे का तो statement भी
100%,
नहीं आया.
100%.
I think
100%,
statement भी
Hiren. I
नहीं
think
आया.
it's definitely a step backward. I don't know how that was easily in my whatever I've seen of India, the worst performance I've ever seen because we didn't do anything. Igor Stimac is saying we created 3-4 good chances. I can't remember any apart from those Nikhil crosses which led to half chances. There was nothing in the game, I thought. I don't know what.
But that for me, Rahul, sums it up, right? That the coach still thinks we did decent. Again, be honest to yourself and just say, listen, we were bad, and I'm sorry, we are sorry. And this is something, the lack of honesty and BS, just giving BS from the start to finish, that is getting on my nerves. That disqualifies him from being in that role. I cannot believe that you can still say that this was a decent game. It was terrible to watch. And again, if Afghanistan is a little bit more lucky, and I felt in the end, I thought Afghanistan, as much as it hurts, Afghanistan deserved to win yesterday. That is the saddest part of this all, that they in the end actually deserve to get the 3 points.
Yep, I completely agree, Anu. I think I don't see a world where India even deserved a point yesterday. It was really bad. Was the writing already on the wall? I mean, you've said it a couple of times after those Asian Cup games. Was it already something that we should have expected? I, for one, was actually taken by surprise because I thought, yeah, okay, fine. It was tougher opponents in the Asian Cup, and that's probably why we didn't do well. But did you expect it? Did you see this coming?
Well, I've said this 2 years ago that this was in some sort of wake was coming, right? Not only myself, I was listening a little earlier to what my friend Renedy was saying on 420 grams, and he was exactly the same. And I remember Renedy and I had this conversation after the Hong Kong game when we qualified for the Asian Cup. 4-0, everyone was jumping up and down, and we both said, "Listen, we didn't play well. We did not play well." Remember, I spoke to Jörn Anderson, the Hong Kong coach afterwards, and he said, "We can't score goals." Now, we've been Sunil has gotten us to where we are over the last few years. But Sunil no longer seems to be in the position to save us. That is the thing. If 2 years, 3 years ago, Sunil would have scored a goal yesterday, somehow or the other. And that would have saved us. Nobody would have discussed it. That is the problem.
बट सर कल जो ईगो स्टीवेंस ने बोला पोस्ट मैच में कि हमको 3-4 अच्छे चांस मिले थे, वी कुड हैव वन द गेम, तो आप ये भी तो बोले कि सामने अफगानिस्तान को आपसे बेटर चांस मिले थे, तो वो भी तो जीत सकते थे. आपको सिर्फ अपनी चीजें दिख रही है, सामने वाली टीम ने आपसे बेटर चांस बनाए, आपसे बेटर शॉट लिए, वो नहीं दिख रहा है.
But Hiren, the problem is where were those 3-4 chances? I am still clueless. What does he count as a chance? Does he count Apuya 40-yard shot as a chance? I honestly don't know, because we didn't have the chances. We were very, very poor. And my only question is to anyone and everyone, these players were playing good, decent, even very good 7 to 10 days ago. They seem to have forgotten football. Right? And that is the thing. It is not a question of players. If someone is asking for Brandon, what did Brandon do in the second half? It is not a question of ABCD. This team it doesn't make a difference. You can start with all players, even the ones that everyone's been asking for. There is a problem around this team, and that has to be addressed, and that is the coach. As long as you don't remove the coach, bring in anybody, it will cannot get a better result.
और एक चीज और सर है कि मतलब काफी सारे लोगों का मानना है कि मतलब इगोर के जाने के बाद क्या चेंज हो जाएगा. देखिए, हम ये नहीं बोल रहे कि इगोर के जाने के बाद एकदम आपकी टीम वर्ल्ड क्लास बन जाएगी, बट ये जो प्लेयरों की कैपेबिलिटीज जो मतलब आप देखते हैं आईएसएल में जितना कर पाते उतना भी अगर नेशनल टीम के लिए नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो वहां पे भाई कोचिंग का रोल आता है. आपको स्टार्ट वहां से करना पड़ेगा. पहले कोच को सेट कीजिए, देन नया कोच आएगा, एक नए आपको डायरेक्शन में टीम को, जैसे पुराने प्लेयर है उनको निकालना पड़ेगा, आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा, धीरे धीरे ये सारी चीजें होंगी एंड फिर आपको बेटर रिजल्ट देखने को मिलेंगे। ये आप अगर आप एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो कि ईगो में सेफ हो जाना सब कुछ सही हो जाएगा, तो वो बिल्कुल सही बात है कि सब कुछ सही नहीं होगा, बट एक रिएक्शन टीम की ओर से दिखेगा। मेरे को लगता है कि 100% टीम की ओर से वो रिएक्शन दिखेगा कि हाँ भाई अब हमें प्रूव करना है, सिंपल सी बात वो है। एंड समटाइम वो रिएक्शन ज्यादा जरूरी होता है रादर देना यू कैन से कि जो आपका आउटपुट है, अगर वो आप सही से कर लेते हो देन इवेंचुअली आप बैक ऑन ट्रैक आ जाते हो। बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली यहाँ पे नो वन इज रेडी टू एक्सेप्ट देयर मिस्टेक एंड आई डोंट नो, मतलब आई एम रियली, एक बात तो मैं कॉन्फिडेंट हूँ कि आई थिंक जो ये एफएफ के मेंबर्स है इसमें से आई थिंक मोर देन 50% ने मैच नहीं देखा हो, ये इतना तो मैं श्योर हूँ। एंड उनके लिए दिस इज नॉट अ प्रायोरिटी, वो भी एक बात मैं पक्का 100% के साथ कह सकता हूँ, दे आर नॉट सीरियस एट ऑल। अदरवाइज यहाँ पे आप आई थिंक इमीडिएट आपका जो नेक्स्ट स्टेप होना चाहिए था वो होना चाहिए था टू सेक ईगोस्ट मैच। और काफी सारे लोग अभी भी कैलकुलेशन कर रहे हैं कि हम राउंड 3 में जा सकते हैं, कितना भी कैलकुलेशन कर लो। हमने एशियन कप के बाद क्या बोला था कि 6 पॉइंट आपको लाने हैं, अब हम उस टाइम पे आपको अफगानिस्तान के सामने लग रहा था कि भाई 6 पॉइंट तो ले ही लेंगे, बट इवेंचुअली आप 4 पॉइंट भी लेना डाउटफुल है। सो जब आपकी टीम का कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है तब चाहे कितना भी वर्ल्ड क्लास प्लेयर भी लेके आओ ना, कुछ नहीं होता, टीम परफॉर्मेंस ही नहीं देती, सिंपल सी चीजें भी आपकी सही नहीं होती चाहे कितने भी वर्ल्ड क्लास प्लेयर हो। एंड वो कल हमें देखने को मिला।
Yep. And guys, something that's surprising me over and over about this coach is just why can't, how can you just not be accountable? We've seen it everywhere in the world. Everywhere in the world where just coaches come out and say, you know what, it was on me. Why is it that hard, Arnav? Why is it that hard for a coach to just come out and say, you know what, like it was my fault, I take the blame and we'll work on it?
He wasn't. He lives in La La Land, right? He lives in his own world. He believes. I mean, if you see with how much confidence he's been speaking about possession football, and I said from the start uh, 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 that we are playing possession football. He's been saying that again and again, right? And I've never seen our team play possession football. Where? Right? So my thing is very simple, is that this team, with all potential that is there, no doubt about it, the players get worse when they come to the national team. You know, it's a very simple thing. And again, guys, one thing, it doesn't matter if it's player A, B, or C. Any player in that squad yesterday, it would have not made a difference. I have a feeling that these players are now playing against the coach. Otherwise, I cannot explain such a bad performance, right? And the thing to me is, something needs to happen. It should have happened months, years ago. He should have been gone for a while. But for whatever reasons, nothing has happened, and nobody's talking about it, right? And that is the sad part. That we've become a joke. We have become a joke.
And it's, I don't know if your speculation is sort of, if that's the case and the players are not playing for the coach, that's a dangerous situation we're living in, especially halfway through our World Cup qualifier games here. If the players are not playing for him.
वो एशियन कप के बाद ही मैंने बोला था फैंस को कि अगर टीम आपकी कोच के लिए नहीं खेल रही तो चाहे सामने कौन सा भी ओपोनेंट आ जाए, वही डर था और वही इवेंचुअली हुआ यहाँ पे अफगानिस्तान के सामने, कि चाहे सामने उनकी बी सी टीम और ऐसे प्लेयर थे कि जो रेगुलर फुटबॉल भी नहीं खेलते, वो यहाँ पे हमारे प्लेयरों को यहाँ पे नचा रहे थे एंड बच्चों की तरह लग रहा था कि हमारे प्लेयर खेल रहे हैं। So it's a high time.
But no,
think...
but the other point is that we have to accept whatever these guys play in the ISL, that our footballers, even at an Asian level, are not good enough. You know, even, and this is what I've been saying for years. Come here to my hometown, Remscheid. We play 6th division. I want to see how many Indian national team players can walk into our team. I at the moment would say, and even not even today, I would have said 5 years ago, none of the players walk into a 6th division German team. That is the standard of our football. It is 7th, 8th tier of top nations of football. We are that bad, because our football basics are not good. That is another thing, that people who are also shouting today are at fault, whoever is involved. And I don't take myself out. That whoever has worked at youth level, at grassroots level, as coaches, you are producing these players and they're not getting better. That is our biggest problem. The quality of footballers has not improved. And anybody who's born abroad, who has some basic football education, will be better than our Indian national team players.
Yeah, yep. Mayak saying, does he really believe we're playing possession-based football? Because, yeah, like Arnav was mentioned, Eren, where is the possession-based football? I didn't see one player other than Apuya yesterday who actually had a calm head. How can you have play possession-based football without being calm? Everyone wants to go 100 miles an hour. Just get it forward, get forward, get forward really quickly. It's not. It doesn't work like that.
देखो राहुल, ये लोगों को वो बनाने की बात है, CH। सो सिंपल सी बात है कि आप पोजेशन बेस्ड फुटबॉल की बात ही, 2 पास नहीं कर पा रहे हमारे बंदे, और हम पोजेशन बेस्ड फुटबॉल की बात कर रहे हैं। क्या मतलब, हम खुद को ही मूर्ख साबित कर रहे हैं। ये मैंने सुबह वाले वीडियो में बोला लोगों को कि अगर हम बोल रहे हैं कि हमने 5 साल में प्रोग्रेस कर दिया, कोई भी बोल रहा है, फैन बोल रहा है, कोच बोल रहा है, या AFF बोल रहा है, अगर किसी से भी बोल रहा है, गवर्नमेंट से बोल रहा है, बाकी लोगों से बोल रहा है, कहीं पे भी जाके बोल रहा है कि हमने ये कर दिया फुटबॉल में 5 साल में, और आप अफगानिस्तान को भी अगर अवे में नहीं हरा पा रहे हो, तो मूर्ख आप हो, सामने वाला नहीं है। वो भी सारी चीजें देखता है। और ये क्यों हम स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं इंडियन फुटबॉल में, फाइनेंस वाइज और ये सारी चीजें वाइज? क्योंकि लोग अंधे नहीं है। आप इंडियन फुटबॉल में रह के अंधे बन सकते हो, उनको सब कुछ दिखता है भाई, बाहर से सारी चीजें क्लियर दिखती है। आप जब अंदर होते हो तब आपको लगता है कि हाँ भाई सारा लाला लैंड है, बट बाहर से सबको दिखता है कि it's you can say slum area. So this is what Indians football situation at the moment. So ये जब तक आप देखिए, आपको पहले जो भी whatever resources, whatever things you have, you need to show some progress and show some you can say कि डेवलपमेंट आपको दिखाना पड़ेगा, तब जाके कोई आके पैसा लगाएगा। ऐसे ही थोड़ी ना लगा देगा कि आपने बोल दिया कि भाई इंडियन फुटबॉल में करना चाहिए। ऐसे किसी भी फील्ड में नहीं होता, इससे किसी भी फील्ड में नहीं होता, कहीं पे भी नहीं होता। और आप चाह रहे हो कि ये फुटबॉल में इसको ऐसा करना चाहिए, वो इसको ऐसा करना चाहिए। आपने किया क्या है? आपने क्या किया है? अफगानिस्तान के सामने ड्रॉ। और आप चाहते हो गवर्नमेंट आपको पैसा दे, आपको प्राइवेट का वो ब्रॉडकास्टर मिल जाए, ये मिल जाए, स्पॉन्सर मिल जाए। कोई नहीं देगा भाई, कोई नहीं देगा। क्यों देगा भाई? इस चीज के लिए क्यों देगा? और आपको ना तो एंटरटेनमेंट मिल रहा है, ना आपकी टीम जीत रही है, कुछ नहीं हो रहा है।
Yeah.
Absolutely. Guys, any update about the India under 23s?
I've
2-1 से
heard
पीछे
that
थी।
India were 2-1 behind, but I don't know if it's finished, but they were 2-1 behind.
I think it should be done because it started
Yeah,
2-1
yeah,
ago.
should have been a 7:30 kickoff, should be over by now, but I've not seen. Again, there are rumors. Yeah.
2-1 से हार
That's
गए,
that.
हार गए।
But okay. That's where
सिवाल्डो
we
ने
are
गोल मारा।
on. Okay, BFC boy. Some positives. But yeah, I know.
नथिंग, नो पॉजिटिव भाई। अंडर 23 कैसे टीम इकट्ठा हुई है, कैसे कोच सिलेक्ट हुआ है, अगर वो तुमको पता चलेगा तो तुम और भी बोलोगे कि क्या ही है ये। तो एवरीवेयर देयर इज ए यू कैन से कि चल रहा है भाई।
Yeah, I think again, I know there are comments about Sunil Chhetri. I think he didn't have a good game yesterday, and I think most players didn't have a good game. I don't think there were too many who can say, "Yeah, you know what? I actually did a good job. I did my best, whatever." But it's I don't think it's about the players yesterday. It was not. It didn't look like it was a player's problem per se.
No, it was a player's problem because the players didn't
Okay.
perform. So for me, the worry with Sunil is that Sunil, with the experience, the knowledge that he has carried this team very often. And maybe Sunil needs to be honest to himself and say, you know what, I am not at the moment in the position to carry this team. You know, so I think Sunil needs to be honest to himself. And because Sunil looked like a passenger yesterday, the team looked bad, but he was one of the worst, if not the worst player on the field. And he played 90 minutes. That's my concern. Sunil Chhetri, is one of the biggest ever players that India has had, right? But I think that at the moment, with all that has been happening over the last year, be it that infamous goal against the Blasters and his performances for the national team, I think he's destroying his own legacy at the moment. I think he's not helping his own cause.
एक चीज मैं उसमें ऐड करना चाहूंगा, जो सर ने बोला कि सुनील छेत्री को रिएक्ट करना चाहिए। आई थिंक अगर आप इस मोमेंट पे रिएक्ट नहीं करते हो, चाहे वो प्लेयर की ओर से रिएक्शन आए, जैसे कि सुनील छेत्री अगर मान लीजिए कि वो रिएक्ट करते हैं, दैट विल क्रिएट इम्पैक्ट, या फिर एएफएफ की ओर से कोच को चेक करना, आपकी ओर से रिएक्शन नहीं आया, इसका मतलब है कि आप और भी ज्यादा इससे भाई वर्स्ट होने वाले हो। सिंपल सी बात है। आई थिंक देयर इज ए नो, जब तक देखिए आप कभी आपको क्या बोलते कि वो झटका लगने की जरूरत होती है कि हाँ भाई जग जाओ सच में, एंड वो एट द मोमेंट या तो प्लेयर की ओर से आ जाए या तो कोच खुद तो जाने वाला नहीं है, वो तो मैं गारंटी के साथ कह सकता हूँ, या तो एएफएफ चेक कर दे। ये दोनों में से कोई एक चीज अगर नहीं होगी, we are not going anywhere. Will be worse than this, but we are not going upward. That's for sure. And जो भी लोग अभी से कैलकुलेशन कर रहे हैं भाई राउंड 3 में जाने का, जब तक पॉइंट नहीं आ जाते तब तक मत करो भाई, क्योंकि इस टीम से एक गोल की भी एक्सपेक्टेशन रखना, that's a huge task. So to expect a 3 point and to goes into the round 3 is a far you can say the away thing. So ये रिएक्शन आना पड़ेगा। आई थिंक एट द मोमेंट फॉर मी, आई थिंक जो ये कल या परसों रूमर आई थी कि सुनील छेत्री इज थिंकिंग अबाउट कि भाई कुवैत के सामने, आई थिंक दैट इज द थिंग वी रिक्वायर्ड, कि उनकी ओर से वो आना चाहिए कि बस अब खत्म हो गया मेरी ओर से। चाहिए रिएक्शन चाहिए, सिंपल सी बात है। बट आई थिंक कल्याण चौबे का तो स्टेटमेंट भी नहीं आया है इस मैच के बाद। आया है क्या? मैंने तो नहीं देखा कहीं पे। मैं 99% श्योर उन्होंने मैच भी नहीं देखा होगा।
Well, I just want to add that the reason I feel like this is not a player sort of problem is because to me it looked like two centre backs, Anwar Ali on the ball, he'll do something. Otherwise, you bring Apuya, let him slot in on either on the right or the left of the centre backs. Give him the ball, he'll do something. There were no patterns of play there. It didn't look like they had actually been coached. That's what I'm trying to say. I think you expect probably one of your midfielders will drop in, link the play. Nothing. There was nothing. There were no patterns. It was just chaotic. I think that's what
you saw, for example, that our wingers, you were dependent on our wing backs, either on Akash or on Nikhil, to actually try and run as far forward as possible and then try to cross the ball. That was the only thing that I saw. And the point here is very simple, that this team is playing at a level where even someone without football knowledge and watches this team will say, are these players really that bad? And then the answer has to be no. So the point has to be, it doesn't matter who the coach is. Anybody else, this team will play better. And that is something which needs to be understood. But on the other side, we also need to be honest enough that our player base at the moment is weak. Our playing material is not Asian. Forget Asian level. We're not even second tier level of Asia.
Yeah.
So therefore, to me, is very, very simple that we have to take a reality check with our expectations. Winning SAF Cup is, be happy with it. And India away and home form. and the point is, I've heard from certain people, listen, we got a point away. I said, if you look at the consolation in this qualifiers, 1 point is not good enough, because I don't know if I'm going to beat Afghanistan next week. That is my biggest concern. Are we sure that we will beat Afghanistan on Tuesday?
Yeah. Scary. It's extremely scary. But I actually I just want to say I agree with Harsh. My bad. Now that he's just pointed it out, I remember a couple of occasions where I think it was once when Akash was trying to play it back to Gurpreet, went for a corner, and that was literally, like Harsh has just said, it was schoolboyish. That's something that I wouldn't even see in my brother's under 12s.
No, but my question is Akash and Akash is a good example. He's finally found his feet at Mumbai City. He was playing well in the ISL. And yesterday you thought, is he for the first time after 3 months touching a ball or something? Because you saw him also with throw-ins. He didn't know where to, no one was coming forward to offer themselves with throw-ins, right? And that is a concern. I've not seen the stats. Most probably Anwar and Beke had the most touches on the ball with Apuya. One of those three, surely. And that is something where, and this brings me again to the thing is that I think Indian teams need to be coached. Just to do one session a day wherever you're meeting is not good enough. Igor Stimac could have had a 1-month camp. Do you think they would have played better with this? It would have made no difference. A good coach gets 3-4 days, puts in the basics, give them a structure, and that's Parameshwar. It is not Roshan is better than Akash or Shubhashi is better than Akash. It doesn't matter. They were all clueless. This is what you need to understand. It doesn't matter. And Roshan has been atrocious in this ISL. So how does his name even come? Right? So that's the reality also. Don't throw out names. It does not make a difference. XYZ player would have made a difference. No, this team, I think it's the atmosphere within the team is toxic now. This team, So that is my concern, that you can bring in the best young players that you think, and the young players are not ready for international football. That's my opinion at least. Let's also stop with this BS that there are better young players who can come in. They're worse. They can't even do the basics. One good match in the ISL and people want them to play for the national team. Where are we? We are bad, but we need to be honest to ourselves. Where is the standard? And at international level, experience counts. Look at, again, my example is 34-year-old Sharif. I think Amiri is also 34, 35. Amiri plays at Plainville somewhere in Canada, some semi-pro team, and Sharif doesn't have a club since he left Churchill Brothers. That is the reality. That these guys who are not even playing.
Rohit puts it very well, Anwar. Nikhil got a yellow for time wasting when we needed the win. It's actually.
I said it earlier when I did the stream. I said the same thing. It's how can you get in the 89th or 90th minute a yellow card for time wasting where you should throw the ball as quickly as possible forward because you want to win? There was no intensity or intention to win. We were happy. I actually yesterday during the game was scared is what would happen if India concedes a goal. Do we actually collapse like we did in the Asian Cup and would have lost 2-0 to this Afghanistan side?
Yeah.
So this is bad. Sorry guys.
इससे सर एक चीज मतलब जो कल हुआ ये 100% श्योर राहुल जो बोल रहे थे कि भाई आकाश मिश्रा ने वो पास किया वो चला गया, वही आकाश मिश्रा आप आईएसएल में देख लीजिए ऐसी सिचुएशन में परफेक्ट पास करता है. ये सिंपल ये 100% प्रूफ कल प्रूव हो गया जो एशियन कप में भी हो चुका था, लेकिन उस टाइम पे काफी सारे लोगों को फिर भी डाउट था. बट कल के मैच ने 100% प्रूव कर दिया है कि टीम लॉस दी ट्रस्ट इन ईगो स्टिमिट्स. 3-4 प्लेयरों को हो सकता है ट्रस्ट क्योंकि वो उनके चहेते प्लेयर हुए हैं तो होंगे, लेकिन बाकी प्लेयरों का ट्रस्ट नहीं है एंड दैट्स क्लियरली विजिबल. 100% विजिबल इन दी टीम. एंड चाहे सामने कोई सा भी ओपोनेंट आ जाए, इवन पाकिस्तान भी अगर आपके सामने खेलेगा तो वो बेटर खेलेगा. हार जीत डजंट मैटर. दूसरी साइड पे रखिए, हार जीत तो होगी लेकिन खेलेगा आपसे बेटर, वो 100% मैं श्योर हूं.
But my point is John Wick says Vikram, Apuya, Anwar did well. Nobody did well. Where was the spark? I mean,
we rely on the Afghanistan mistakes कि वो मिस्टेक करे और बॉल ले और हम कुछ कर ले. हमारे पास कोई गेम प्लान ही नहीं था.
So for me the biggest concern is that where do we go from here? And that is my concern is because this team going back, the mood will I don't know where to start and where to end.
I think we're all there. I know. I think it's just you just don't know what to say after. I was yesterday after the game. I was literally like, I don't know what to think of this. I don't know what to make of it. It just felt so. We don't know. I honestly, for one, don't know what to say. But Hiren, we have to move on because there's another game coming and it's not too far away. We have to get. I mean, if we want to qualify for round 3, the boys have to get back together.
qualify.
पता नहीं, but we have to ask the questions. तो मैं आपको पूछूंगा, what do you think will happen on the 26th?
हाँ, मैंने एशियन कप के बाद भी जो बोला था सेम चीज मैं बोलूंगा. You need to change a coach, otherwise nothing will happen.
Hiren, but I just want to ask you because unfortunately, the truth is that we're going to have the same coach in 5 days' time. The likelihood of him going now, but in this 5 day window is pretty much zero. So
Then I
with
think
this team and
maybe
with this coach, what are you expecting?
I think अगर हमारे पास कुछ लक हमारे साथ हो गया उस मैच में, we might शायद विन ले सकते हैं या अनदर ड्रॉ। वही मैं एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा हूँ 26 को, ड्रॉ या विन विद द सिंगल गोल मार्जिन। हमारे साथ लक हो गया, पेनल्टी मिल जाएगा, ऐसा कुछ हो जाए, then and then only we can get a win. But I am not seeing you can say the dominant performance against this Afghanistan in that home match, जो कि आप अगर आप एक साल पहले या फिर उससे पहले पूछते तो शायद आप बोल सकते थे कि हाँ भाई हम होम पे उसको डोमिनेट परफॉर्मेंस देंगे, बट आई एम नॉट एक्सपेक्टिंग दैट. So for me, either it will be draw or a one goal win for us, but it's going to be a scrappy win. Simple as that. I'm not seeing we will dominate the game. We will create so many chances, and we will play that possession based football which Igor Stimac ने 5 साल में हमको सिखा दिया है. I'm not expecting that. At the best case scenario, I am expecting a one goal win.
Okay. Somalia is positive. He thinks that Red is going through a tough time, can come back stronger. But Anwar Neil on the
अच्छा
other
टाइम
hand is
आया कब
saying
था भाई, ये भी तो बता दो बा. अच्छा टाइम आया कब था? टफ टाइम
but
ही है.
Neil is on the other hand saying probably a loss next game would be good for the AF to get some heat and probably take action. I don't know, how do you see this panning out over the next 5-6 days?
I again, there are two sides of the story in that way, because it will be interesting to see if the players pick up the pieces. If anyone in the team realizes, what the situation is, also realize that you can achieve something historic in this competition. But the point here is, at the end of the day, is again, and that's also the difference, right? The Afghani players are fighting the federation and are fighting for the right thing against the federation. Our players, do they really care? Will 3-4 players say, you know what? As long as this coach is around, we're not going to play again for India.
Again,
But no one will do that. I mean, some of them would, most probably, because then they'll say, listen, you know what? I can concentrate on my ISL playing career. But again, the players are not out of this discussion. And again, naming names, I say this again and again, I don't see a difference if XYZ player was in the squad.
Yeah.
We don't have this one standout player who's not in the squad who would have turned everything around.
Absolutely. Kumar thinks Igor is gone if there's another draw. I mean, I think it's already pretty evident that he needs to go. But yeah, we have to keep going. And
सच में
Sahal
लगता है
injury
राहुल तुमको
update.
कि सहल इज आउट फॉर 2 वीक्स, वो एक्सपेक्टेड. हैमस्ट्रिंग में तो भाई 1 वीक से तो ज्यादा होगा ही होगा. सो ये 2 मैच आपको, और वो आ भी जाए तो क्या कर लोगे आप? आ भी जाए तो क्या कर लोगे? सिंपल सी बात वो है. राहुल, मैं तुमसे पूछ रहा हूँ कि इफ वी ड्रॉ नेक्स्ट मैच अगेंस्ट अफगानिस्तान, डू यू स्टिल थिंक कि वी सैक ईगोस मैच?
I don't think the AFF will sack Igosti much before the 6 games are done. That's my opinion on what the AF will do. But for me, he needs to go. Now, I mean, I initially said keep him for 6 games, but yesterday was just shocking. It was really shocking, and I was really disheartened to see, given the context, given what was at stake. Yeah, I mean, that's just sad. But yeah, can't help it. Hiren, what do I ask you? Any changes for the game against Afghanistan that you'd like to see in the 11?
आई थिंक चेंजेस करके भी मतलब कुछ ज्यादा हो नहीं जाना है यार. सच में इस मैच ने यार, सच में वो क्या बोलते हैं कि आपको झंझो के रख दिया है कि कोई से भी. मैंने तो अभी जब थोड़ी देर पहले लाइव किया था, मैंने बोला तब लोगों को कि अगर आप पूरी नई टीम भी ला दो ना तो भी कुछ नहीं होगा. पूरे नए प्लेयर ला दो, ये सारे हटा भी दो. नए नए 25 प्लेयर या नए स्टार्टिंग 11 के साथ जाओ, पूरे नए प्लेयर. there will be not too many changes in the performance. So I don't know, मतलब चेंज करके भी आप क्या ही कर लोगे, एंड उससे क्या ही फर्क पड़ जाना है. वो वाली मोमेंट अब जब तक देखिए प्रूव नहीं होता तब तक ये कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आएगा कि यहाँ भी ये टीम एक कोच वो कर सकते थे. उनको प्रूव करना पड़ेगा अगेन विद द रिजल्ट, नॉट ओनली बाय टॉकिंग, सिंपल एज दैट. सो वो जब तक नहीं होगा तब तक I don't have too many high expectation.
Yeah. Anuva, any changes that you would like to see in the 11?
I think we need to be a little bit more attacking minded. I think that's the first thing. I think we need to try and slot in someone who's more who can add a spark of creativity. That most probably is someone like a Brandon. And then the question remains if Sunil does get a start, or or if Sunil is benched. I think that will be interesting. I think the first question is if does Jeekson get a start, or does Tangri get in? Second question is who's going to be that 10, and and then find a solution. I think that's the only thing that I can say at this moment. Again,
Happy with this midfield, Anuva, from me?
I mean, what do I expect? I mean, I have no expectations, and it doesn't. As I said, it doesn't matter who comes in. I don't have a bench player, or I don't have a player outside of a squad that at this moment in this team in this kind of situation could make a difference.
Everyone is a starting 11 player and everyone is a substitution.
It's just, I think it's unfortunately that's just the mood. I think again, Igor suggesting Thapa has not had the best ISL season. It doesn't really matter, I think, even if Thapa is there. But
and we saw that Jeekson is at the moment it's not there where we need Jeekson to be. That was yesterday was a perfect example. But the point to me is again who from the 15, 16, 17 players, 15 players who played yesterday played well. Who's that difference player? And it doesn't make a difference.
Absolutely. Somalia again pointing out that we're missing a sheep. Guys, again,
it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah,
again, and that is what I'm trying to tell you. In this team, at this mood, give any name. You can throw every name in there. If you don't understand, it's not about an individual name of a player, because these players are all playing much, much worse than they're capable of. That's why to me, very, very clearly, these players are not, it's not one player that I change and suddenly the whole world changes, and that is something, that's very, very tough. And even Sandesh Jingan would have made no difference. What was Sandesh doing in the Asian Cup? He was also out of his depth. Our problem is not at the centre back. Our problem yesterday was all over the field. And our centre backs weren't exposed. If we had to play a better team, then it would have been interesting to see how Beke and Anwar Ali and Gurpreet have done.
Again, I think Brandon, it's easy to say just play Jay Gupta and Amay, but
and the point is, how you say that Akash and Pujari are having a bad season and Jay Gupta and Rana Wade are having a good one. Jay Gupta is having the worst time of his professional career in India at the moment, and he still got a national team call up.
Yeah, and Amay really had a bad time against Central Coast Mariners. He was.
So therefore, to me, throw in any name. It does at the moment. As long as the coach is not changed, nothing will change. You bring in a different coach and play the same team. And I want to see this team then play. Imran, it does, as I said, it doesn't matter to me. No name. It is not a name question. It is a problem. Even I could have played yesterday. It would have made a difference.
Neil say Kevin De Bruyne also will not change anything. That's fair.
Rahul, that's the
call from out of the blue, but
that is the brutal reality.
रियलिटी है, सही बात है. और ये ऐसा नहीं कि इंडियन फुटबॉल में टीम का ट्रस्ट लूज हो जाता है कोच पे, तो चाहे कैसी भी आपके पास टीम हो, कितने भी बढ़िया प्लेयर हो. हमने देखा है फुटबॉल में कि दे इवन अगेंस्ट द स्मॉलर टीम डिडंट मेक अ विन, और परफॉर्मेंस नहीं आती है एंड वो हारते हैं. हमने देखा है कई बार, क्लब लेवल पे कई बार देखा है. सो दैट इज द केस विद द इंडियन टीम एट द मोमेंट. आपके प्लेयर को नहीं है वो ट्रस्ट, है कोई सा भी प्लेयर आ जाए, that will not make any difference.
Guys, before, and I just wanted to ask you guys both, what do you think India can come back and beat Afghanistan when we come back home? I know.
Phew. Um, the question is in that then can the mentality will the players show mentality? Forget the coach now. You know, it is about someone needs to address sort of their pride, their passion, the fire. I don't know who that is. It would be interesting to see how much of social media these kids are following. Or sorry, I'm saying kids, but these players, right? Are they only on Instagram and watching reels, or are they really, you know, I'm sure fans are writing them not so friendly messages today. And understand that if Indian football overall wants to move forward, you cannot have such performances. And the disturbing part is, the biggest disturbing thing to me is that fans are now saying, you know what, it is better for us to lose. So for me, that is something which is, you know, those are always SOS signs when fans say, you know what, it's better for my team to lose, be it club or be it country.
Yeah, completely agree.
And another example is today, I mean, the Indian under 23s have played, and I've been trying to find some official formal data about who played and what played. The AFF social medias have not had any updates for the last 7 hours. Just to sum it up, what the situation is. And they put a press release out this morning about TW3 tests of a meeting which happened 3 days ago. Right? So this is the situation.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Here I'm just going to come to you again about the result because yeah. What do you expect?
मतलब आई थिंक एक चीज कर सकते हैं एज अ फैन, और रिक्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं एफएफएन इकोस टीम से कि ऐसे टॉर्चर मत कीजिए यार, इससे अच्छा है टीम डिसकंटिन्यू कर दीजिए, आप सैलरी लीजिए, उससे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट सैलरी ले लीजिए, पैसे ले लीजिए, एफएफ शो करना है, बट टीम को डिसकंटिन्यू कर दीजिए, ऐसी फुटबॉल दिखा के फैंस को टॉर्चर मत कीजिए. एंड आई वाज सीइंग रिएक्शन फ्रॉम द फैंस, फ्रॉम द क्रिएटर्स एंड एवरीवन. एक साउथ का कोई हीरो भी है, उसने भी रिएक्ट किया है सोशल मीडिया पे, ट्विटर के ऊपर, एंड उन्होंने किया कि दिस इज द एब्सोल्युटली वर्स्ट, एंड उन्होंने बोला है, अनुराग ठाकुर को टेक किया है उन्होंने कि भाई एक्शन लो यार, ऐसे ऐसे. एंड आई थिंक कल एक चीज मैंने नोटिस की कि देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ पीपल जो मतलब जनरली इंडियन फुटबॉल को रेगुलरली नहीं देखते होंगे, बाकी फुटबॉल देख रहे होंगे, वो भी कल देख रहे थे मैच को कि हाँ भाई हम जाने वाले, चाहे अफगानिस्तान थी, बट जैसे ही हमने परफॉर्मेंस दी है, आई थिंक नो वन विल टेक दैट रिस्क कि भाई हम इस टीम को फिर से देखें. एंड सच में यार इट्स हार्ट ब्रेकिंग. आई थिंक दिस इज आवर लोएस्ट पॉइंट टू बी ऑनेस्ट, राहुल. So I am really disappointed, and I think let hope so better sense prevails in Eagles to match and AFF and whoever taking the calls कि थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे कुछ चेंज करने की जरूरत है. अगर वो होगा तो यहाँ पे आगे कुछ चेंज हो सकता है, अदरवाइज हियर एंड देयर एक आध परफॉर्मेंस बीच में मे बी आपकी अच्छी आ जाएगी, अगेन the same story will repeat. So वही वाला situation.
It's a similar situation of what Ten Hag and Manchester United are, right? You know, Man United is if we compare it with the clubs,
little worse this one, I think.
ये थोड़ा सा worse है.
But the pattern is similar, right?
Yeah,
You've always
similar,
gotten out of your troubles, right? I mean, who would have thought that they would beat Liverpool in the FA Cup? So, but again, I know but that's the thing, right? And the question is, if suddenly on the 26th this team can turn things around, you know, and let's see.
I think, but Hiren, I think he summed it up quite nicely. I think it was heartbreaking, and that's why there's so much emotion coming out of everybody who's watching the game. And I completely get where the fans are coming from. I think most of us are feeling the same way. But let's hope that this team can sort of turn it around, because at the end of the day, it is important for us to get into round three. It is important for us to play those tough teams in the next round of the World Cup qualifiers. So yeah, we'll be sort of there for the build up to that game. We'll be there on game day. We'll be there for the watch along, and we'll review that game as well. So stay tuned, guys. Like and share these videos. Subscribe to all our channels: Sports Kabaddi, Curious Harry, and Arun Foot. Yeah, have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everyone.